And then I am here. Gonna do one more thing here. Okay. So welcome. This is guided meditation, circle of light meditation. There's so much I want to share and talk about, but it's it's tricky to talk about things without going into areas that could be triggering for people. But let's just say I think it's, there's no secret that right now in the US there's a lot of confusion, a lot of fear, a lot of division. And every time during COVID, I did this obviously a lot. And during this time, which, it's a confusing time, what I am also doing is going in the Akashic Records, which is the way that I kind of have an opportunity to kind of rise above and look at the energies and see what's going on. And I have done this a few different times for political figures, for figures like Trump, everybody's talking about, thinking about. And, I'll share with you what I picked up on about him in particular, because a lot of people are wondering, right? Like, what's this person's deal? I mean, some people think they know what his deal is, and some, there's different views in the spectrum. And I'll share that, and I think I have before, but I think my belief and what I always do pick up on the Akashic Records is that our guides, the council of elders, they really want us to stop giving so much energy to other people, to political leaders, to anybody, to be sort of to think that they have the ability to kind of control our lives or fix our lives or ruin our lives. And that's really important because this is happening on all sides, that there's, and that's really old programming that we, as humans have this sort of, you know, um, giving our power away to other people that we think have the ability to make things better and make things worse, when in fact, we are being asked in this time to take back our own power, our own free will. And this is really important for us to do. And so it's, there will be some that will say, no, I want, this is a good thing. And there's going to be things that are fixed and this person's going to do all this good stuff. And there are those who say, no, it's a horrible thing. And he's going to do all these bad things. It's really dangerous and all. And so there's these different sides and usually with things like this, what I've learned is the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? And also what I've learned in the Akashic Records is there's very little that's black or white. Somebody that seems really bad, there's always light within them. There's always a good side. Somebody that seems really good, there's always shadows too, right? So that is like the core message. And so by the way, I'm going to be doing a meditation this evening on healing and just bringing in healing. I've really been sad to see, people kind of lashing out at each other, saying, I'm going to unfriend this person if they believe in this person or they voted for them and I'm going to block them. It's just so heartbreaking to see that. Oh, because they're racist, they're homophobic, there are all these labels being put out. When the fact is, it's like I sent out an email the other day and it's like, do we really believe that majority of humans are are really that close-minded? It's really, I don't think so. I mean, of course, there are some people who are, that who are othering and against, but it's a small percentage, a very small minority. So it's just easy to do that. It's easy to kind of say, well, why might this person feel that way? And this is an ego thing. Well, it's because they must be this, when in fact, there might be another reason. So I'm sure that if you're listening, that's not you. You're not doing that. But, there's always going to be, there's polarities always. And so what I'm hoping is for the majority of us here to bring in light, that we can, rise into what we are really being asked to do, the Christ consciousness way of empathy, compassion, forgiveness, understanding. When there's another perspective we don't understand, just asking, well, why might this person feel this way? Is there something I don't know about? Is there something I meant to learn from this? And that's the truth with really anything that challenges us, any person that challenges us. I do this work with people a lot with family members who they've been challenged by, why might they be behaving like this? What's happened in their lives? And it doesn't mean that it's okay, like that, oh, this is all fine and good. And, I accept it in some ways. I mean, there is an element of acceptance, but you don't have to like it. I can say you don't have to like it. But I guess the goal maybe would be acceptance. How do we move towards acceptance? Does it mean you agree? I guess you agree or you like, because we all have different beliefs. But for instance, um, I am mostly, well, I've been a vegetarian a lot of my life, but I also eat meat. Um, so I'm kind of in the middle. That's really the case for me in so many ways. But, for people who are strict vegans, I don't want my kids to be strict vegans because I want to, I just don't believe that is good for them. But I'm not going to judge or condemn somebody who is, right? Or whose kids are. I might maybe worry about them a little bit, but same thing, it's like, so that's like, that's not what I do. That's not what I believe. But I'm not going to go around like, I don't want to eat animals unless I knew they had a good life. That's kind of my philosophy. I don't eat animals at restaurants, anything that's meat, unless I know it's free range or organic. But my kids do, my husband does, and I let them do that, right? It is different. That's a strange, the example is a little bit different, but we're really being asked to rise above. And, it can be difficult when we're triggered, right? And a lot of people are triggered right now. And so for me, whenever we get triggered, right? What I've learned too is there's always something to look at. There's an emotion that's coming up there. If there's an emotion that's arising, there's something that needs to be healed. And so instead of pushing it away, of rejecting it, of fighting it, what can we look at it? And like, what is coming up for me? Am I assuming something here? Or is there another explanation? And that's going to really help us, just give less energy to whatever this person's doing or whatever this other person's doing and not allow it to affect us so much. And that's really going to be what helps people who are going to be concerned for the next 4 years or whatever, worried. Um, so, not to say that there isn't real, issues that people are concerned about, but I'm looking at it that's a 3D perspective, right? And I don't mean to make light of it, but from the 5D perspective, there is a lot happening in terms of our awakening and our shift in consciousness. And it's really about we're learning to take our power back. We're learning to take back personal responsibility for our lives instead of believing somebody else can control it. There might be painful things that happen in the process, or might be suffering. And that, in fact, is probably still written in the plan, right? It's probably still written in the soul contracts. So, yeah, it's really, really interesting. It's really interesting. Thank you for writing this, Mitzi. I'm just reading it. Oh, people are joining and I didn't see. Okay. So, for, meditation, light, that's going to help a lot to just bring in light. What am I meant to be learning? How can I, what am I not seeing here? That it's illuminating things for us. Just like, I haven't written an email about this yet because it's a hard concept to grasp. And so I haven't talked about this yet publicly, but I'll share it with you all. What I see in the Akashic Records over and over and over is that, things that happen in people's lives, major, traumatic things, abuse, poverty, war, things that we are, even diseases that people have, it's part of the soul contract. It's these major things are written in, they're planned by us as a way to learn. So if we can think of this as also being planned, that it's not just this, it's everything's, blaming on this one person. What if this person's just playing a role? What if this person volunteered to play a role that might challenge a large number of people? But what if it's part of, and this is what I've seen, it's a disruptor. It's the role of a disruptor and of disrupting a broken system that really needs to be dismantled. And will it be dismantled? Who knows? But when we remove it's like this person volunteered to play a role as abuser or as as, somebody that we just have a lot of conflict with. That is that's in a soul contract. Maybe the roles were flipped in a past life. So you can think about it that way, that we start to remove the sort of feeling like we're being attacked or harmed or something like that away from it. And we see that actually there's a learning here, and that can really help. So it's a massive thing. And I think, I do get a little concerned when I see people on the other side, probably then those of you listening here, maybe, I don't know, who are, excited and think that some of these good things are happening and waiting for this person to make all these positive things that they perceive are positive, at least happening. Also not, it's not ideal, because we're giving, again, somebody else the power that should be ours to co-create our lives. So I hope that helps to have this kind of higher perspective of what's going on. When I've looked at, for instance, the person of Donald Trump, of Joe Biden, of Robert F. Kennedy, of Kamala Harris, all these like figures. And I've only looked at a few of their energies, but what I've seen, I'll tell you what I saw about Trump the other day was there was some greed that came up, and there was light and dark, both, like not clear. And I've seen the same thing for almost all the political figures I've looked at, that there's both light, there's also dark. It's like they're enigmas. And so that's important, I think, for us to see that they're just these figures. They're just like like puppets, like propped up. They don't have this ability, they're not these like gods, right? Or demons, right? Neither one. So that's part of the illusion, right? That's part of the matrix, that we've been programmed to believe that we are these sort of minions that all these overlords can control, when they really can't. If we believe they can, that might be our reality, right? But if we think, well, I'm free, I have free will, I can do what I choose. You can do this, you can do that. Maybe there's going to be some of this thing that I don't like, but it doesn't need to affect me. I can, unless there's a soul contract thing, it might affect you if there's a soul contract at play. But if you believe that you're free, in a large part, that will be your reality. So I don't mean to make light and say, oh, that's going to happen for everybody, but it is kind of like generally that's how divine laws work. It's just a law like gravity. When we believe something and we, act as if, as within, so without, our external reality mirrors our internal reality. And that's something that we're learning more and more and more. And it's not something that we've been taught, right? Nobody's taught us how to do this. So we create that reality we want to see as much as we can. This is an opportunity for many people to do that. So, all right, let's do a meditation. I'm not really sure what I'm going to say yet. And so what I've been doing is I've been standing this whole time, but I'm going to sit and bring my whole situation down. Okay, so hopefully you can still hear me. So let's take a moment and just bring in some light, bring in some healing and a sense of understanding. And by the way, if you want to learn how to kind of do this, like rise above and look and see what's going on, like I do, I'm teaching an Akashic Records class in just a few weeks. It's a 4-class thing. So it's every other week over 8 weeks. It's pay from the heart for the next week. Check it out. Maybe if you want to learn how to read your records, it's really, really cool. I look forward to the day when everybody knows how to read their records. I think that will come, or most people do. All right, so let's take a moment and just bring in some light so you can close your eyes. And just begin to take a few deep inhales, slow exhales. You can hold at the top of the inhale to really bring in a lot of oxygen, and slowly let the air out, letting your body begin to relax. Breathing into the belly. Lots of air all the way up into the upper body. Pause. Slowly, slowly exhale. And just allowing your breath to flow naturally now. Just begin to sink to an inward place, dropping into your body. There's been a lot of external focus in the past few weeks on what's happening in our world. And now that the dust is settling, you have an opportunity, you're invited to just go inward. Just like the winter solstice coming up soon, it's when we can retreat inward and, like the bears that are hibernating, do a little bit of hibernating just to heal, to go into a safe, warm cocoon of sorts. Just how healing and peaceful that would feel, just imagining that. How would that feel if you were just snuggled up in your cozy bed or on a nice couch in front of a fire? A nice cup of tea or hot cocoa, just settling into that cozy feeling within. It's a remembered feeling. You know how to unwind, you know how to let go. It's just about unplugging from the noise now, just unplugging like you're pulling out a plug from the wall socket, removing your energy from that which is no longer serving you. And as you go inward, just allowing the breath to bring in clarity. As you inhale, imagine there's light flowing in that's cleansing any gunk or debris that's been in your mind or your body. And as you exhale, imagine that light is really being soaked up in all your cells. Just like being wrapped in a nice warm blanket or towel, just feeling how good it feels just to seal in a feeling of peace. And all the worry, all the fear, all the anxiety, worst case scenario thinking begins or continues to be just washed out of your body. That light is just cleansing it away. There's no space for that when there's so much light. And this is really the Christed light that is with us. This is not Christ or the one they call Jesus or Yeshua to be worshipped, but the energy of this one who walked the earth, who wants us to be like he was, just like so many other wise masters, like the Buddha, like Muhammad, like Mother Mary, Joan of Arc. Just feeling yourself, allowing in the light of love. What would it mean to love unconditionally, without condition, even though I may feel wronged, even though I may feel harmed, even though Jesus's captors were planning to kill him, and it said that they did, even though, is there still room for love, forgiveness, for understanding, for empathy, And this I speak of now is for your fellow Americans, if you're American, or even if you're not, just the Americans who may be frustrated with, or anyone who represents a different belief system than you. What would it mean to just love them for who they are? And maybe that's easy for you to do, but what would it maybe for others it's not so easy. So let's hold light for them, for others who are really stuck in anger or fear. Imagining the light of the highest kind, the light of the highest source is with them and helping to bring them comfort and safety. Maybe you know somebody who's in that sort of fight or flight triggered state right now, and a lot of fear, a lot of worry, maybe anger, and see if you can just imagine that light being with them. Just taking a moment, and maybe with a few others as well that might need it. Let's just take a few moments and do that. Just imagining the collective settling. And though it may not seem possible for unity and peace right now in the United States, maybe we can hold that vision, that light, just seeing person to person, just an understanding, maybe even a listening to, a mutual openness, maybe even a hug between those who have differing beliefs, one by one. And those who are loudest right now are often the ones who are most struggling, when in fact there are many who are open and learning and open to listening to the other more than we may know. So there's a lot of hope. The vocal minority of those in anger, we could just send prayers to them in light so they may find safety and comfort when they're ready. Knowing it's not our job to push them, just hold space for them, just wait for them. You can even visualize so much light and unity flowing through the United States in particular, in the world. Even if we've been used to the colors of red and blue, and maybe just dissolving those away. Maybe it's just a beautiful violet, purple, or some other color that isn't such a contrast. That's the division that we've been given, that we've been fed. That's the old way of us versus them. Feeling the land from east to west coast being hugged in those beautiful divine hands of God, or of the source, if you can imagine, if you like to imagine it that way. How would that feel? How beautiful is that image? of light flowing through the land, through every home, through every town, opening the hearts and minds of all, including the politicians, but really most importantly, the American people and all living on this soil. I'm going to call upon, you can join me if you like, the highest, most loving angels and beings of light to be with us, with all humans, particularly Americans right now, to help us heal, to help us forgive, to help us understand, to learn, to have empathy, to have compassion, to listen, for our healing, for the unity consciousness that is here, that we are moving into, even though it may not seem like it. Sometimes it's darkest right before the dawn. May we all be blessed. And for this, we give much thanks and deep gratitude. May it be so. And so it is. Deep breath in, slow exhale out. Just come back into your bodies, stretching out. I hope that was helpful in some way. Thank you for joining me. That image of just violet purple light, that really, I loved that. That worked for me at least. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of hope. I hope you do too. And in the meantime, I think, we can just hold the light as much as we can for others who may not. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and I wish you a blessed evening or day whenever you're watching this. Take care, everyone. Don't forget to check out the Akashic Records class if you're interested. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Yes, so much peace. Thank you. Bye.